Good day, everyone. And this paper focuses on the ethical and social responsibility practices of the Municipality of Porac, particularly from the perspective of a government insider, as public service institutions play a crucial role in delivering essential services and ensuring transparency. It becomes increasingly important to examine how they manage ethical concerns with their organizations. Our study is based on a key informant interview with Ms. Cecilia Tiotico, the municipal accountant of Porac, and through this we sought to explore how ethics are applied in everyday public service, and what systems exist to manage violations, and how the organization responds to both internal and external ethical challenges. And the primary goal of this research is to identify the gaps in the municipality's ethical infrastructure, analyze how these gaps impact service quality and public trust, and recommends practical solutions such as forming an ethics committee, improving training programs, and creating a workplace culture rooted in integrity. And by examining this case, we hope to contribute the outgoing on the ethical governance and encourage reforms that will promote greater accountability, transparency, and trust in local institutions.
This research examines ethical issues in Porac local government. The study investigates real-life ethical dilemmas and social responsibility challenges faced by the municipality of Porac, including issues like misconduct or lack of accountability among staff, leaders, and issues. It also highlights actions like sanctions, monitoring, and ethics training. The local government has responded to these challenges by enforcing disciplinary actions, improving oversight through monitoring, and providing ethics training to employees to encourage professional and honest behavior. This paper aims to improve policies and workplace integrity because one of the goals of the research is to suggest policy changes that will better address ethical concerns, create a healthier workplace, and ensure fairness in decision making and service delivery. Lastly, it recommends ethical, fair, and responsible governance. The study offers practical recommendations to help leaders promote integrity, transparency, and accountability, ultimately building public trust and improving how the municipality serves its people. For the background of the study, Porac local government aims to serve with dignity. This emphasizes that the municipality's original mission is to serve sincerely and ethically. But it faces challenges in managing ethical and social responsibilities. This points to existing gaps in ethical leadership and governance. The municipality was involved in the Pogo scandal, a serious issue that affected Porac due to poor policy clarity and weak enforcement. And its credibility of leadership was affected. Due to the lack of clear ethical guidelines and crisis communication, the leadership's reputation suffered. Public trust also declined. Citizens lost confidence in the local government due to lack of transparency and accountability. Employees experienced stress and emotional burden. Many were unfairly blamed or unable to defend themselves, affecting morale. Workplace relationship and well-being were impacted. Ongoing stress harmed teamwork and overall office culture. So this study focuses on addressing these issues, investigates the root causes and effects to identify solutions. It aims to recommend ethical policies and service improvements. So the goal is to build long-term trust, accountability, and efficiency. The paper seeks to determine and provide solutions to the municipality of Porac. Specifically, it aims to understand how the municipality promotes respect and integrity. It examines how employees from different backgrounds are treated and whether the work culture supports fairness and professionalism. It also aims to evaluate the group responsible for ethical standards, looks into whether there's a formal body ensuring ethical behavior and accountability in the organization. It aims to review ethical guidelines and policies, checks if the organization has clear, accessible rules about what is acceptable behavior and how violations are addressed. Lastly, it aims to identify protocols for handling issues like POGO, It analyzes how the municipality responds to public concerns, scandals, and sensitive matters to maintain public trust.
This study, conducted over 2 weeks in July, delves into ethical challenges faced by the municipality of Porac, Panga. Our primary data came from an in-depth interview with municipal accountant with Ms. Cecilia Yotico. We focus on understanding perspective regarding resettlement, livelihood, workplace policies, and the impact of specific events, interpreting the data through qualitative thematic analysis to understand how ethical issues are handled.
So, as for a related review of literature, as businesses negotiate integrate social, cultural, and legal contexts, ethical and responsibility concerns have grown in importance within organizational management. According to Revino and Nelson, published in year 2016, upholding strong ethical standards is essential for long-term success and trust building in addition to compliance, which was supported by the study of Carl and Shabana that is published in year 2010, as they state that the foundational elements of societal legitimacy and organizational sustainability are ethics and accountability, which is why organizations are under more and more pressure to maintain moral principles and meet the demands on various stakeholders as they function in more multicultural and international settings. However, according to the study of Robertson published in year 2019, employees are more inclined to act morally and in accordance with the company principles when they feel valued and included.
So let's start with our theoretical framework, and the ethical dynamics observed in the municipality can be explained through two prominent frameworks: stakeholder and organization ethics theory. Firstly, stakeholder theory proposes that organizations should not only aim to satisfy shareholders or internal interests, but also address the needs and well-being of all individuals or groups affected by the organization's actions, and this includes employees. Employees play a double role as both ethical actors and internal stakeholders. The next is citizens, as the direct recipients of government services, and they require transparency and accountability, even amid controversies such as the POG-related scandal. And next is the leadership and administrators have an ethical responsibility to set a positive example and establish mechanisms that support justice and fairness in governance. And next is the government regulators, serve as external stakeholders demanding compliance with national laws and ethical standards. And the next theory is the organizational ethics theory. This provides lens to assess how internal systems or lack thereof affect ethical performance. And the case of Porac reveals several key insights. Firstly is the absence of an ethics committee. It creates a vacuum in structured accountability. Ethical violations are handled on case-to-case basis by the HR department, leading to inconsistency. And there is a lack of formal ethical training and communication, with no dedicated dissemination of ethical codes beyond procedural guidelines found in the Citizens Charter. And now let me explain the conceptual model, which is firstly, the core ethical values and principles is the foundational behaviors such as integrity and respect that guide personal and collective action. Then next after that is the ethical leadership and role modeling. Leaders influence culture through example, fairness, and encouraging ethical values. And next is the ethical infrastructure and organizational mechanisms. Basically, just a formal bodies like ethic committees, policy guidance, and grievance systems, or an HR. And next is stakeholder communication and transparency. Ongoing ethical dialogue and updates shared internally and externally. Then lastly, a public trust and service quality. This result of a well aligned values, leadership, and system is sustained public confidence and efficient service delivery.
For our methods of data collection and analysis, the researchers use qualitative research to determine the issues and resolve the problem of Municipality of Porac. This study analyzed the questions and answers on the interview focusing on the mentioned objectives. In this study, we interview Ms. Cecilia Chatwico, an accountant in the Municipality of Porac who served the organization for 4 years. The selected participant is given an open-ended questionnaire that was provided by the researchers with a total of 6 questions that focus on the ethical and social responsibility issues that will directly answer how the municipality employees respond to the issues that exist and may arise in the future. The researchers did an in-depth interview wherein the interviewer had a one-on-one, face-to-face conversation and interaction with the employee of Municipality of Porac, providing a structured questionnaire. By conducting an in-depth interview, the researchers are able to gather information that helps to identify how the organization handles ethical issues.
The Municipality of Porac, as a local government unit or LGU, plays a crucial role in delivering core public functions and ensuring the well-being of its constituents. In line with national laws, Porac operates under the Local Government Code of 1991, which grants LGUs the authority and autonomy to govern local affairs. This legal framework empowers the municipal government to create ordinances, manage local resources, and implement development projects tailored to the community's specific needs. It is primarily tasked with providing essential services such as healthcare, education, infrastructure, sanitation, social welfare, and disaster response. These services are vital in promoting the quality of life and addressing the daily needs of residents. Porac is also responsible for initiating and managing development programs that promote economic growth, social equity, and environmental sustainability. These initiatives may include agriculture support, livelihood programs, environmental conservation efforts, and infrastructure improvements, all of which contribute to inclusive and sustainable development. The Municipality of Porac was officially founded on October 15, 1594, with its establishment marked by the appointment of a parish priest, Father Fray Mateo Peralta, signifying its early roots in both governance and faith. Today, as a recognized local government unit or LGU, Porac is governed by elected officials who ensure that the municipality functions effectively in serving its people. The local government is led by a municipal mayor, vice mayor, and the Sangguniang Bayan or municipal council, the legislative body that represents different sectors of society. Currently, Mayor Jaime Capil, also known as Jing, and Vice Mayor Francis Tamayo, also known as Budoy, head the executive branch, supported by council members and approximately 300 to 500 municipal employees, including department heads and administrative staff. The government's operations are further supported by department heads overseeing key sectors such as engineering, planning, social welfare, agriculture, health, budget, and disaster risk reduction. These departments are tasked with ensuring effective delivery of programs related to infrastructure, community welfare, environmental protection, and disaster preparedness. Porac's executive and legislative branches work collaboratively to implement plans and policies aimed at maintaining peace and order. by enhancing local economic opportunities and improving the overall quality of life of the municipality. Their work is guided by a strong vision of inclusive and resilient growth, aiming to position Porac as a leading example of responsive and progressive local governance in Central Luzon. And lastly, for the result 1, the important organizational developments. The Municipality of Porac, through its Municipal Planning and Development Office, or MPDO, continues to implement key projects that support sustainable urbanization and community development. Among those notable is the new Municipal Hall and Government Center, inaugurated in February 2025 in Barangay Kangatba, a 370 to 420 million pesos facility that includes a new police station and future office expansions. In education, the municipality launched the Education Infrastructure Project in April 2024, which includes the construction of 2 new classrooms at Planas High School in partnership with Pasudeco and Hope, which is set for completion in 2025. And in agriculture and environmental sustainability, Porac hosted the ginger seedlings turnover ceremony in October 2024, distributing a 100 disease-free seedlings to farmers in Barangay Planas. Within the same month, the Deltanim Greening Project brought together over 100 volunteers to plant bamboo along the Malele River to promote reforestation and flood control. And lastly, in June 2025, the NLEX to NCTEX Community Farm Initiative established a productive farm in Barangay Pio, yielding over 1,200 kilograms of vegetables and enhancing food security. These projects are guided by the Municipality of Porac's vision of becoming an economic and industrial hub with balanced ecology and responsive leadership. Porac remains committed to promoting sustainable growth and delivering sincere public service. Their vision entails a developing economic and industrial hub with balanced ecology, empowered community governed by responsive and dynamic leaders. Their mission entails to establish sustainable development programs that will enhance greater economic and industrial activities while conserving the municipality's natural resources in partnership with the community. And lastly, their goal, to serve the public with utmost sincerity and genuine service.
Result 2. The description of ethical and social responsibility issues. Firstly is the lack of formal ethical infrastructure. The municipality lacks an institutionalized ethics committee. Ethical complaints and misconduct are just by the HR department, which operates on an administrative and often informal basis. The structure leads to inconsistencies in the application of penalties and misses opportunities for preventive ethics management. And the next is insufficient ethical training and orientation. The interview revealed that employees are not systematically trained in ethical decision making. While some norms are observed culturally, like mutual respect and integrity, but there is no mandatory training program or ethical orientation when onboarding new staff. And this gap makes it difficult to align behaviors across departments or hold individuals accountable with a consistent standard. And next is the scandals and organizational resilience. Despite recent scandals involving their local executive, issues surrounding POGO operations, employees continued their work unaffected, and this reflects a certain resilience and commitment to public service. However, it also highlights a disconnect between administrative ethics and political leadership, suggesting that need for stronger mechanisms that protect public service integrity even amid political turbulence. And fourth, of lack of ethical policy communication. So Porac's Citizens Charter, while helpful for operation guidance, does not fully explain ethical standards. Neither the public nor employees are consistently informed about the expectations related to conduct. Consequences for violations or updates to ethical protocols. And this absence of clear communication can lead to uncertainty, confusion, and ethical blind spots. So, our recommendation in reform proposal is the formation of an ethics community to manage grievances in policy enforcement. The next is development of ethical guidelines and a code of conduct, and fostering a conducive ethical workplace culture through regular training, anonymous reporting tools, and values-driven leadership. So, yeah.
For the result 3, it is the analysis of the ethical and social responsibility issues. These issues in the organizations often stem from structural and cultural deficiencies. So one of the major concern is the lack of ethics committee. It leads to poor oversight and accountability. A second is the unclear or inconsistent ethical policies because it confuses employees. Third, weak ethical culture reduces trust and morale. Fourth, strong ethical systems help organizations manage issues better. Fifth, the poor public communication and lack of transparency hurt credibility. Lastly, the ethical leadership requires openness and alignment with public expectations.
A comprehensive code of conduct developing employee and community input should be implemented and widely disseminated to define ethical standards and consequences for violation. Mandatory and continuous ethics training programs going beyond mere compliance are crucial to instill a deep understanding of ethical principles using real-world scenarios. To address these ethical and social responsibility issues, a comprehensive approach is proposed. This includes establishing municipal ethics and social responsibility committee to oversee ethical programs, review conduct codes, investigate complaints, and publish annual reports for transparency. And they finally did a whistleblower protection program. It's necessary to allow employees and citizens to report concerns confidentially and without fear of retaliation, especially given past issues like POGO scandals. These measures aim to build trust and foster a sustainable culture of integrity within the municipality.
And lastly, on result 5, we have recommendation for further study. This study provides an informative foundation and serves as an initial step for understanding ethical and social responsibility issues in the municipality of Porac. However, further research is needed because there are areas of the research that need to be further studied as the paper lacks information in specific areas. As such, the researchers recommend that future studies should include more voices, such as employees, citizens, and officials to gain broader perspectives. Second is to explore the role of digital tools in improving transparency and allowing citizens to track the municipality government's performance in real time. The third suggestion is to explore the feasibility and benefits of creating a formal ethics committee. The fourth is to study how citizen feedback can be integrated into ethical policy making. And lastly, we suggest to compare Porac's situation with other LGUs to identify best practices in ethical governance.